If you ask Teresa Giudice, there are some things that would be better off if they were ignored. The RONJ abruptly hung up on the reporter during a live television interview, when the reporter went over the deep end with questions that were not acceptable. Continue reading to see what caused the Bravo celebrity to lose her mind, as well as her most recent opinions on the possibility of returning to the Real Housewives of New Jersey for another season. Teresa Giudice reveals the most recent information regarding her comeback to reality television. Fans of Bravo are concerned that the reality show The Real Housewives of New Jersey, as they know it, is about to come to an end. This is the final original housewife from the first season of the show, and Teresa Giudice is the only one still performing. Bravo has not yet disclosed if the program would be returning at some time in the future with the same cast, or whether it will be receiving a totally new cast. As the 14th season came to a close in the summer of 2017, the ladies of the group engaged in a fierce war. It was even impossible for them to work together on the season finale. A number of reports circulated that Bravo was about to cancel the program due to the split cast. The schedule for the remaining months of 2025 was disclosed by the network, and it did not include either The Real Housewives of New Jersey or The Real Housewives of New York. According to Andy Cohen, neither of the shows will be canceled. Shortly after the conclusion of season 14, Teresa Giudice and Melissa Gorga, Teresa's sister-in-law, both made statements that suggested they would not return to the show if the other did. For over a decade, the in-laws have been engaged in a contentious dispute with one another. Teresa Giudice has appeared to retract her prior assertion that she would not return for season 15 of Real Housewives of New Jersey if Melissa did, which has caused fans to continue to be concerned about the future of the show. Doji and Morning News in Chicago conducted an interview with Teresa Giudice this week in advance of her performance at Zany's Comedy Nightclub in Rosemont, Illinois, which is scheduled to take place on June 29. The interview got off to a poor start almost immediately after the news station played footage of Teresa's outbursts, which included flipping tables and other inappropriate behavior. Teresa gave a brief response when she was asked if she had any regrets about any of it. Obviously, I've been on television for the past 18 years. The question of whether or not she will get back on The Real Housewives of New Jersey became the focus of discussion. Teresa's response was, "I hope yes, I am the original. Who knows what the future holds? For that, you will need to inquire with Bravo." As a result of the on-air interview going awry, she hangs up on the host. Since its premiere in 2009, The Real Housewives of New Jersey has made Teresa Giudice a prominent figure in the world of reality television. Throughout the years, viewers have witnessed her losing her cool, including the notorious table flip that occurred during the conclusion of the first season. Even after years of interviews, it appears that Teresa Giudice is still unable to keep her temper under control. Joe Giudice, Teresa's ex-husband, and Teresa both entered guilty pleas to the charge of tax fraud in 2014. 11 months were served by her in prison. Her ex-boyfriend was sentenced to 3 years in prison and, upon his release, was deported to Italy. Since then, he has relocated to the Bahamas and begun a new professional endeavor. Unexpectedly, the hosts of the television show brought up the arrest while they were conducting the live television interview. When challenged by one of the hosts, Teresa Giudice was asked why a family would not pay for years. At first, the reality television personality was perplexed and inquired about the family that was being discussed. In his clarification, he stated that he was inquiring about the charges of fraud. Immediately after the interview began, Teresa Giudice abruptly ended it. "All right, I'm going to hang up. Why don't we just hang up?" Before closing her laptop and bringing the interview to a close, she stated, "That covers everything." Almost quickly, the video clip became viral. The issue of paying taxes is one that Teresa Giudice faces on a regular basis. A significant tax lien was recently placed on her current husband, Luis Ruiz, who is also her husband. The tension in the studio was electric even before the cameras started rolling. Teresa Giudice, the fiery and unfiltered star of the Real Housewives of New Jersey, was there to promote her latest project, a wellness retreat in the Bahamas. Known for her sharp tongue and emotional candor, Teresa was ready to charm the audience. But what started as a lighthearted conversation quickly spiraled into a storm of misunderstanding, pride, and raw emotion that would end with her abruptly hanging up on the host, live on air. The interview began innocently enough. The host greeted her with a smile, tossing her a compliment about her new venture. Teresa responded graciously, her signature smile lighting up the screen. She spoke about healing, balance, and the importance of self-love after years of public scrutiny and personal challenges. For a moment, everything seemed peaceful, almost too peaceful for a woman known for flipping tables and storming out of reunions. But then, the question shifted. The host, eager to boost ratings, veered into territory Teresa hadn't agreed to discuss. "So, Teresa," he said casually, "fans have been talking about your recent tension with some of your castmates, especially Melissa. Do you think the feud has gone too far this time?" The room fell silent. Teresa's posture stiffened, her smile faltering ever so slightly. "We're not here to talk about that," she replied, her voice calm but edged with warning. "This interview was supposed to be about my retreat." The host chuckled nervously, trying to ease the discomfort. Of course, he said, "but you know the fans are curious. It's just, some people think your idea of healing might not line up with what we've seen on TV lately." That line hit a nerve. Teresa's eyes darkened. She leaned forward, her voice tightening. "You don't know my life," she shot back. "You see what they edit. You don't know what really happens behind the scenes." The host tried to steer the conversation back to humor, but it was too late. Teresa's patience had evaporated. Years of being portrayed as the angry housewife, the woman who couldn't escape her own controversies, had finally boiled over. "Maybe not," the host continued, "but people saw you walk off the reunion again, and it just seems like—" "Excuse me?" Teresa interrupted, her tone sharp as glass. "Are you trying to embarrass me on your little show right now?" The host blinked, visibly flustered. No, I'm just—" "You are," she snapped. "I came here to talk about positivity, about moving forward, and you want to drag me back into drama. That's what's wrong with people. They don't want you to grow. They just want to keep you down." Her voice rose with every word, the emotion raw and unfiltered. The audience watching live could feel the shift. The energy had gone from polished entertainment to something far more real and unpredictable. The producer gestured off-camera, signaling for the host to calm things down. But Teresa wasn't finished. "You know what?" she said, shaking her head. "This is exactly why people need healing, because of negativity like this." The host tried one last time. "Teresa, please, I didn't mean—" But she was already removing her earpiece. "We're done here. Have a nice day." And with that, Teresa Giudice, the woman who had survived prison, public scandals, and countless reality TV feuds, hung up live on air. The feed cut awkwardly to the host, who sat frozen for a beat, unsure how to recover. Finally, he laughed it off, muttering something about technical difficulties as the show went to a commercial break. But everyone watching knew exactly what had just happened, and that it would be trending within minutes. Aftermath. The internet erupts within an hour. #TeresaHanksUp was trending across social media. Clips of the incident flooded TikTok and X, formerly Twitter. Fans took sides instantly. Some applauded Teresa for standing her ground, while others accused her of overreacting. One viewer tweeted, "She's not wrong. These hosts always poke at her pain for ratings. She deserves better." Another fired back, "Teresa can't take accountability. Every time someone asks a tough question, she runs." Even fellow Bravo stars chimed in, some offering support, others quietly enjoying the spectacle. A source close to Teresa told Page 6 later that day, she felt ambushed. She was promised a positive interview. She's not sorry, she's protecting her peace. A pattern of passion, this wasn't the first time Teresa's fiery nature had stolen headlines. Ever since her infamous table flip in 2009, she's been known as Bravo's most explosive personality. But those close to her insist that what viewers see on screen barely scratches the surface of who she is. Behind the glitz and glam, Teresa has endured immense hardship. Legal troubles, public scrutiny, the loss of her parents, and rebuilding her life after serving time in federal prison. Her fans admire her resilience, while critics accuse her of leaning too heavily into the drama that made her famous. But in her mind, the two can coexist. As she said once in an earlier interview, "I'm strong because I've been broken. I love hard, I fight hard, that's who I am." A moment of reflection hours after the chaotic broadcast, Teresa posted a serene photo of herself on Instagram, meditating on a beach, the ocean stretching behind her like a mirror. The caption read simply, "Protect your energy. Not everyone deserves your peace." Fans flooded the comments with messages of support. "You did the right thing," one wrote. "Never let anyone dim your light." The network, meanwhile, issued a brief statement thanking Teresa for appearing on the show and expressing hope for future collaborations. The host, too, addressed the situation later, saying, "I have great respect for Teresa Giudice. Live interviews can be unpredictable, and I wish her nothing but the best." Reality versus real for many, the moment became symbolic of a deeper truth about celebrity culture and media sensationalism. Teresa Giudice wasn't just reacting to a single question. She was pushing back against years of being defined by her worst moments. In a world where authenticity often collides with entertainment, her decision to hang up wasn't just impulsive, it was a declaration. A reminder that behind every headline and every meltdown, there's a person who's tired of performing pain for applause.